Good evening and welcome to the debut of my podcast, The Blakeley Show. That's what we're calling the Blakeley Show podcast. That is what we will be calling it unless and until I decide on a different name that I like. So thank you for joining. Please ensure that you like and subscribe to the podcast. This is different than like my other channel. Like this is different than my other content, okay? Because most of my content is short form or semi-long form and live streaming, which I do on my channel at I Am Blakeley. This will be specifically for this podcast. This channel, this Blakeley pod, will be specifically for this podcast, as well as live streaming, in which I hope to get many guests that I can talk to, interview in a chill way, okay? Not like I'm not fucking whatever his name is. I'm forgetting his name. I'm not Ryan Grimm here, okay? So it's going to be more informal, but I'm hoping to get a lot of guests, a lot of different types of guests, from political activists to people running for office to artists, and just to, you know, be able to interview and have conversations, whether that be short interviews or long form conversations with them. I was going to get my microphone today so that it looked officially podcast like, but I still haven't figured out how to use the microphone without, without it crackling. So bear with me for the first one. Bear with me for this first one as I try to get through it on my first podcast. And something else you'll notice is that right now it's going to be on YouTube up until, okay, I can figure out how to get on Apple Podcasts. Right now, I'm not saying it's never going to go up on Spotify. It will eventually, probably. But right now, we are not going to be uploading it on Spotify because we're boycotting Spotify right now, okay? Spotify is like officially on the BDS boycott. So we're not going to be using that right now. I'm going to try to figure out how to put on Apple Podcasts so people who do audio only will be able to listen to it if that's what they want to do. But anyway, Chris is here and he's about to join. Please make sure that you like the stream and share the stream and subscribe while I introduce the amazing Chris Smalls. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining. I'm so excited. I told everyone that I wanted you to be the first podcast guest I had since we did our podcast together.
Yeah, I mean, this is full circle. You know,
Yes.
I love telling I tell my friends and stuff, whoever I talk to about what I used to do as far as podcasting. I say, believe it or not, Blakely was one of the first to get down with me in that space. And I sometimes I reflect back and I look back at those old videos. They're still up there on YouTube, and I'm like, wow, we came a long way in such a short time. So
I
I'm
know.
happy. I'm not only happy, but I'm proud. I'm proud of you, Blakely, like for real. I remember, like, we all started from very small platforms, and to see what you've done in just a short amount of time, I'm really, really happy and honored and proud to see you continue to grow in that space and do your thing. So,
That's really
yeah.
sweet. Well, I feel the same way about you, obviously, and actually a lot more proud of you because you do things that I like flying, like I hate flying, like you fly all over the world. Like obviously, like I love you so much. I love you and you are such an inspiration to me. Like I'm not gonna be like dick riding you this whole time, but like I do want to say that like I am so proud
I,
of you and
I know, I get.
I'm so happy when like with seeing what you've done. The way that you didn't just I love so much that like you didn't just keep it narrow to like, oh, I'm gonna care about labor rights and that's it. Like you
Mhm.
were not playing games. You immediately got were with the Palestinian cause, going to Italy, protesting, shutting that shit down, the flotilla, all the shit that you've done. You're just amazing. You're so inspiring to me. And I love you. I know whenever I tell people, whenever they're like, oh, do you know who Chris Smalls is? I'm like, bitch, I know. I know who Chris
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like, you definitely know. You was there from the
exactly.
very beginning, very beginning. So
So
yeah,
with that, oh, by the way, I wore this, the one I got at the Christmas party back in like what was that?
I see.
2021, 2022. So I'm wearing
22. Yeah.
the
Oh yeah.
I told Derek I was jealous that he had a pink one. He had like a bright bubblegum pink one. I was like, what?
Yeah, I know. We got to reprint the same colors. A lot of people want, the old school colors that we have, because we used to
Yeah.
call ourselves like Power Rangers, because we had one
Yes.
in every color. But they were hot sellers. We had to give them out to the members first, and then us ourselves, we only got one copy. So, if we're lucky to have them, we still have them. But I want to reprint them for, just for new, up and coming members, and also for the public. Like, I think it's a
Yeah.
hot
Yeah.
merch on the, you know.
I just missed the bubblegum pink one because I was like, I have this one, I have the green one, and then my husband at the party got a blue one. So we have
Yeah,
three. But yeah, I saw the pink one that at that one protest that Derek was wearing, and I was like,
yeah. I got you. I got you. As soon as we reprint, I got you.
yeah. So anyway, what I wanted to hear about, because now that I'm doing this podcast, I'm going to try to make it so that activists and different people who are going through and doing a lot of things, and anybody who's talking about what they're doing, and I want you to tell us about what is going on right now with the Amazon labor union, what you've been doing, why were you at court today? I am definitely curious to see, and if you want to tell us about some of the things that have been happening in Italy that have been quite amazing. I've seen some of the protests that you've been at in Italy that are quite something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'll start with the court thing today. It wasn't about me, or actually really pertaining to the union. It was an individual who reached out to me. Without going into too many details, I would just say that this company, Amazon, is notoriously known for fighting against people's unemployment claims, which is crazy because the turnover rate there is so high that they shouldn't even dispute whether somebody gets terminated, because they do it all the time. But in certain cases, and this is, insane, that a woman reached out to me, from a New York facility, and she was disputing the fact that Amazon actually was going to take her to court and fight against her for her unemployment claim. She's a mother, single parent, and of course, the company doesn't give a damn about that. So, as somebody who's been through this process many times and has done this in the past, I accompanied her throughout the process, and I made sure she had the right information. And yeah, hopefully it gets resolved right away. Usually, it does always fall in our favor, but it takes some time to go through the system. And yeah, that's just what we're dealing with. As far as Amazon and the union is concerned, Amazon is refusing to bargain with us. They are once again trying to ride this thing out all the way to the Supreme Court, which is their game plan from the very beginning. They still, till this day, haven't even recognized the fact that we actually won and everybody watched it. You can watch it You can watch it on Amazon Prime, for example. The documentaries on there. So even though it's well documented, it's been all over the world as far as this victory, historical victory. They still refuse to even admit that they lost.
Mm.
They've been keeping this ongoing battle, legal battle in court for the last 3, 4 years now. And their plan is to once again get to the Supreme Court or trying to ride it out to the point where they can file for decertification. And that's something that we have to be aware of because we're running out of time. And that time it starts now, pretty much. A year from now, they will be able to run this type of game plan. So we have to be proactive as far as the union and organize. And yeah, that's just Amazon being Amazon, which is always going to be their game plan to try to um, discredit the union and get rid of it completely in any way possible. And yeah, that's the latest as far as we have right now. But as you know, we as a collective, as the union, this is the time for us to really organize and really try to shut the building down in some capacity, call the type of strike where we have the leverage so that we can get the company to come to the table.
Yeah, so when it comes to that, when it comes to them fighting, which they have been ever, like you said, ever since the news happened that you guys won, and they've been fighting it ever since. And like you said, which is correct, they want to bring it to the Supreme Court because they want the right wing Supreme Court to
Yeah.
side with them the same way that they've been doing. They've been like triggering these cases, like they did with Roe v. Wade, where they're purposefully trying to bring them up to the Supreme Court so that they can get a favorable ruling. And we know that our Supreme Court is trash and controlled by oligarchs and corporations. So, um, but as far as like what you were saying about we have to organize this stuff in or before they can actually file for decertification, where does that stand right now? Like, how are people in the Amazon labor union feeling? What is kind of like the vibe? Like, what's the kind of game plan that you guys are thinking about when thinking through like what are next steps?
Yeah, well, I can tell you, unfortunately, I'm not involved with the day to day I'm a former president. I'm not an organizer actively, as far as like being on the ground with the union. But I can tell you this, as far as where the last things from last year, what I saw with the strikes, even that we called last year. There's a thing about being active and being retroactive. And what we can't do is the same thing over and over again. We can't call a strike every prime day, every 6 months. We can't do that. We just can't. What won our union was because of the consistency of leadership being on the ground, organizing, building relationships. And the reason why, I don't get to talk about this part. But the reason why um, I affiliated the union last year, last summer with the IBT, the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, is to give them the muscle and the resources they need. Literally, the Teamsters is one of the most powerful unions in the country. They had $350 million in strike funds, and they also have 1.5 million members countrywide, nationwide. So the affiliation that I signed allows us to get some of those resources, including offering the members $1,000 in strike funds. So it's not up to me to decide what to do. It's up to the
Mhm.
union to decide how to tap into the resources there that are available and bridge that gap between themselves and also with the active people at the building. Now, of course, there are some barriers. Amazon doesn't allow us to go on property, including myself. We all know that if I go on property, they're calling the police. They're going to do that with union organizers as well. They're going to call them police. They still got the building is locked down like Fort Knox. You can't really get on property without showing your ID anymore. Something that Amazon is continuing to utilize is trying to create the barriers and make it difficult. But once again, this all falls back on the union itself, the current leadership. They must find a way to educate their members on trying to understand what a union is for, but also use the resources that are available. Um, the reason why, once again, I signed this agreement is to make sure that they were available because I knew we would not be sustainable as an independent union. We're
Yeah.
going up against a $2.2 trillion company. Over the last few years, I was able to raise money, raise donations, give us certain resources. And also, we did draft a warehouse protection act. So we've done some amazing things even without a contract. But that is not going to be sustainable for the long term because this is a lifetime struggle, as you know. So, that's where they stand right now. They have the resources. The Teamsters damn sure has the money. And trust and believe, for those who don't know, I meet with the Teamsters. If I have in the past, I've definitely expressed my passion and my opinion. Damn near flipping tables and cursing people out if I have to, because I know that what worked for us was face to face on the ground, over 300 plus days at a bus stop talking to workers, and they're failing to do that right now, and that's something that we can't do. We have to correct course on that.
And when you say they're not doing it, you mean so who is in charge kind of the Amazon labor union right now is the Teamsters.
No, 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 no. Our agreement has we have full autonomy. We have
Okay.
full autonomy, full jurisdiction. We are the Amazon Labor Union IBT Local One, and
Okay.
the Local One has the full autonomy over their union. And the Teamsters is just the bigger brother. They're there for the check and balances of the union itself, but also once again to provide muscle and strength, and
Right.
that's what they have to tap into. They have to tap into the international and let them know, like, hey, look, we're running out of time here. Uh, and you guys have muscle. You guys can possibly call this a secondary strike. Something, something different than the performative saying that we're doing a strike and no means of production is being shut down. We can't continue doing it for headlines because that doesn't work when you're going against Amazon.
Right. And so who is the head of the Amazon labor union now that should be kind of coordinating some of this?
Oh, it's the president, Connor Spence is their president, and that is the person in charge.
Sean O'Brien's the head of Teamsters, right? Is
Of
he
the
the head?
international. He's in
Okay.
charge of the international. So we are
Okay.
local within the Teamsters. We're not on the international side. We are local.
Okay. And the Connor guy is the one who could actually kind of like is supposed to kind of be like the liaison between them.
He's the president, and he has power just like everybody else on the executive board. The president, the vice president, the treasurer, the recording secretary,
So
um,
in
and
like
also their
so in layman's terms, like what the fuck is he doing then?
in layman's terms, once again, I'm not there. When I
Yeah.
was there, there was a different story. There was a plan. There was obviously we have our woes with different disagreements and things like that, but that's a part of organizing. That's also a part of democracy. You have to figure shit out as it happens. Now, the union, I can tell you what the union is been focusing on, other than pretty much not going on strike anytime soon. But as far as the union's focus, it's just not where it needs to be. There's been two elections for officers. There's been a bunch of disagreements, but I don't want to discredit the fact that our union is still figuring it out and still in Pampers. As far as like us being an independent union, we're still in Pampers. We haven't been in the game as much as these other unions. Of course, the Teamsters has been around for over 100 years. There's been unions in our country that's been around for over 100 years. But the blame is not just on us; it's on the whole labor movement. The whole labor movement's not organizing. Think about it. Like,
Yeah.
my unit is a speck compared
Right.
to the larger labor movement. We're nowhere near in comparison to any of these other unions. We didn't even organize the same way. So when we're completely different, we're what unions should be doing.
Yeah.
Grassroots, scrappy grassroots, face to face organizing is how we did it. But unfortunately, our labor movement is not doing shit. Not doing shit when it comes to Palestine, not doing shit when it comes to the genocides in all of these different countries, not doing shit when it comes to, even ICE. They want to scream ICE and scream that, but these are the same unions that were quiet for Palestine and also quiet while I was in prison. These same unions inviting me as when I was the president of the Amazon Labor Union. I was welcomed into all of these unions' headquarters, to all of their conferences, spoke to all of their members all over the country, and being praised as much as Sean Fain and even more than that. And then all of a sudden, when you speak about Palestine, they blackball me, they talk down upon me, they discredit me, discredit the union. They say all of these things about me. And then what makes it worse is, the complicity and the silence while a labor leader, something that somebody who really rejuvenated the labor movement for them to even say that they are organizing again. It was crazy to see that nobody said anything, with the exception of the National Nurses Union, who put out a statement when I got out.
Unless I missed it, I didn't see any of the people like Sean Fain or Sean O'Brien or any of them, because I was so like
Yeah.
when you were kidnapped, like I was so pissed at the lack of anybody saying anything. Like, where you bitches be? Like all this
Well,
fun.
you know what? On a serious note, like Palestine is showing people exactly who they are,
Yeah,
and
100%.
and this and
It's
this
been such a revealing spotlight.
right, and that's exactly there's no coming back from that. Like I don't give a damn if you Mondani, I don't give a damn if you AOC Bernie. All of them knew I was in prison. All of them knew that I was being captured, beaten, whatever it was. They knew. Some people around them in their camps, their their base, the DSA base that they have, they all follow me on social media. You can't tell me. Literally, they follow me. AOC follows me. Mondani follows me. Bernie follows me. Their base follows me. Their managers, their campaign managers, their staffers, they all follow me, and they said nothing deliberately. That's what people need to understand. There's no coming back for the Democratic Party. There's no giving them another chance or giving them this. Hell no. Absolutely not. We are past that. We need to figure out a way to escape the two-party system. Stop giving our fucking hope and dreams to these fucking career politicians, because that's all they are, and move on. Other countries are looking at us like we're a fucking joke. And that's just the truth of reality. That unfortunately, 70% of Americans don't leave the country. So they have no idea that we are the laughing stock of the world. We're so propagandized that we don't even understand that there is another option, but we rather not. We rather wait for the Democrats to get their shit together.
Yeah, I think you're right, especially about people laughing at us. Like, which again, I'm one of those people that I've never left the country. I've never gone around the world and traveled, and I went to Canada once, which doesn't even count. So like I and even when I went to Canada, it was so clear how they felt about me. Like when they realized I was American, they're like, like they didn't know, like it was just like and anytime I interact with somebody who is from, because obviously we live in New York and like you meet people from around the world. Whenever I meet people, especially like it's really funny how much Europeans hate us. Like they think we're such fucking losers. It's kind of amazing. It's kind of amazing. Like when I've met French people, the way they don't even have any respect for us is kind of incredible. But people around the world are like, you guys are embarrassing. You don't know anything. The thing is, though, the one thing that I'm gonna say in the defense of us, though, is that we are living in an incredibly fucking corrupt country, where all of these moneyed interests, especially post Citizens United, we're drowning in it. Like, so as you pointed out rightly with Amazon, it is a difficult thing to do when you are being constantly drowned out by endless amounts of cash and propaganda and filthy money and foreign money, just like crushing you. It's like, it's really, really hard. So it's like, and then on top of that, no, shade at I'm a huge labor Amazon, like whether any union supporter, love unions, huge support of the idea of parties outside of the two-party system. But then it's also like, we also have to like look at the clown shoes of these people where like you talk about it, where you'll be like, the unions aren't doing the shit they're supposed to be doing. And I feel that same way about like the third party movement, where it's like, yes, our two-party system sucks. But then you actually go and like talk to some of the people that are supposed to be like the leaders of the third party movement. And you're like,
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely pros and cons with all of it. I get it.
100%. But where you are correct
Yeah.
is that it is, my thing is I say this all the time. I don't know what to do. Like, I literally don't know what to do. I feel
None of us do. Don't worry.
like, but you're not wrong that that they're so full of shit. And you're not wrong that literally a joke that they didn't speak out for you. Like, literally a joke. These people were happy to ride your coattails and capitalize on you and talk about you and show up to things and be like, oh, Chris Smalls come, because they wanted like the clout that came along with like the movement that you were building. But then all of a sudden, when you're kidnapped by this white supremacist Zionist fucking lunatics in Israel who are beating you, and like, we didn't even know what was happening to you. I was scared for you to go because I was afraid they were going to kill you. Like, I was literally afraid they were going to kill you. I was like,
Hey, you think I wasn't? I mean, what you expect? I thought the same shit. I mean, I'm like, this could be it, and that's another thing. I could have lost my life, could have died, and nothing would have happened.
right.
It would have been as business as normal, and here today, gone tomorrow type of news, if it was any coverage.
Yeah.
And that just shows you once again exactly, you're right, what type of corrupt system that we live in. That, once again, I wasn't the only American. There was 7 Americans on board, and they could have killed 7 Americans, along with the 21 volunteers, and nothing would have happened. No
Nothing would
accountability.
happen. Yeah.
So
That is something, first of all, I was already like worried for you because I know that you were the only Black person there, and that was already, the fact that you were the only Black person there was already putting you at a disadvantage and in more danger than the other people that were on board. So that was worrying enough. But then on top of that, knowing that Americans in general, this is something I only learned like in the last couple of years, that my assumption that the American passport is usually something that like protects people, but
oh
that
no,
if you're killed by Israel, like, ain't nobody coming for you.
nah,
Aishanor Eggy was killed during the Biden administration. Nothing.
yeah, nah,
Like, it's incredible. Like, it's insane to me. I was like,
nah.
and
It shows,
obviously,
where our tax dollars are going.
yeah.
It ain't going towards that. They have a U.S. embassy in Tel Aviv, and I called it. I spoke to somebody on the phone, and he didn't even show up. He was like, yeah, yeah.
And the
It
thing
was like
that
one of
actually
those.
pisses me off about the way that they ignored you, all of them, because it was because of loudness and it took a while, but the pressure that was eventually built on our lawmakers that finally forced them to address Mohammed Ibrahim. So when Mohammed Ibrahim was kidnapped by them in the occupied West
Mhm.
Bank, and he was held with God only knows what else happened to him while he was there, because they ignored him for months. They ignored the activists for months. They ignored his family for months. It was months and months and months of sustained pressure. Like you were saying, it's about like consistency that
Mhm.
finally forced some lawmakers to start talking about him and force them to address it and force them to actually call the embassy and make them go and visit him. And like, And so they could have done that with you. They could have spoken out and said, like, he's there. But none of them said shit. And it's just like, it's so enraging. It's like so enraging. It's just like,
Yeah, yeah, it
I,
is. I mean, it's sad. It's a sad situation, but there's still hope. You know, the youth is definitely aware.
yes,
We won the battle of the public opinion already around the entire world. Like, majority of the world understands that this is a genocide. These are war crimes. That the Palestinian people deserve liberation, and we got to do what we can. We all have a role to play. The worst thing we can do right now is nothing. It's just sit
yeah.
back and allow this shit to continue. So that's something that I vow not to do. That's why even outside of the Amazon work that I've done, I expanded myself to other worldwide struggles, especially with Palestine. And yeah, next week I'll be in Amsterdam at The Hague. Friends of The Hague, we're meeting
Let's go.
as an international delegation and trying to figure out strategies on how we can collectively, as an international unit, try to put pressure on our governments, our fascist governments around the world. And yeah, more flotillas are leaving in spring, and I'm gonna be involved with that. Um, and also
Are
at the
you
end of the
going to the
month,
Cuba? Are you going to the Cuba flotilla?
yeah, well, it's a convoy, but yeah, yeah. Initially, I know they said flotilla, but I think it's going to be a convoy because, yeah, to get a
So what's the difference?
flotilla, I think people are going to fly in. So I am on the mission to go on the
Oh,
convoy.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm a part of that as well. I'll be down there at the end of the month as well. Yeah.
No, that's amazing. But I love that you're doing that too, because it's like that's the other thing. Where is the and I've seen you call this out, and I like that you do because I think it's important. Where is the international labor movement? Where you be? Like, it's like, and
Well,
what you've
the
been doing in it,
international
huh?
Well, the international labor unions have been doing more than the U.S. Period.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Well, I wanted to
international.
hear sorry, I'm getting like caught up. What I wanted to hear from you that I was
Oh,
excited when I saw was what you were doing in Italy and how you joined the
okay,
people
yeah,
to shut that down.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. So that was something I started working on like soon as I was released from prison. I didn't really rest for nothing. As you saw, I was doing interview after interview for months, and then uh doing some protests and things like that. But I said, I need to, harness this attention and like really hold people accountable. So I started this coalition called Disarm Genocide. Um, and the first initial protest was a few months ago. We did a protest at the AFL-CIO, which is the largest trade union federation in the U.S. in Washington D.C. They represent 12.5 million members, over 60 plus unions domestically and internationally. So I said, okay, these are the people in charge. I was invited there when I was the Amazon president. I've been all up in the AFL headquarters. I met with their president, Liz Schultz. Things like that. So I'm like, okay, as a trade unionist, we need to hold these folks accountable because they have actively fought against resolutions for the last 2.5 years, actively said nothing for Palestine, and then I did my research a little bit more, and I found out that they even have a Jewish labor committee that was founded in 1958, and that the president is Stuart Applebaum, somebody who I also met, who's the president of the RWDSU, who tried to organize the Amazon facility in Bessemer, Alabama. Can't make this shit up. So he's the active president of the RWDSU, who tried to organize Amazon, and also the president of the Jewish Labor Committee within the labor movement, within the AFL-CIO. So when I found this out, just from doing my own homework and research, I said, "Oh hell no!" I'm like, "This is ridiculous. We need to, shine a bright light on these folks and hold them accountable." So what we did was we did this amazing protest. I called some people up from around the world, around the country. They flew in, some drove down. We all protested in front of the AFL-CIO. And then We actually got inside the building because they allowed it. They wanted us to deliver the petition, so they allowed us in. But I didn't go in alone because I was originally going to. The whole entire protest, all it's probably about 100 plus people that ran through the doors, and I have that video up on my Instagram where you can see um, that we delivered a petition asking the labor movement, starting with them, starting with dock unions, maritime unions like the ILWU, the ILA, even though they're not affiliated with the AFL specifically, they still have relationships. We're asking them to fully divest from shipping weapons, manufacturing weapons. And we got no response. Of course, like we delivered this petition. We gave them 7 days, which is more than enough time,
Yeah.
and they ignored it. Of course, they ignored us, ignored me, whatever. So we followed up with a secondary protest on Black Friday. We did one at the ILA headquarters right here in North Bergen, New Jersey. They, of course, it was Black Friday, so it was closed. So what they did was they hired the police to meet us there. So we got there, and the police was waiting for us. And
Wow.
I'm like, wow, but we knew that the building was closed, but they didn't even want us on their property.
Yeah.
So we ended up we ended up taking the streets. Like we're activists, we're protesters, we don't give a fuck. Y'all showed up, so y'all giving us more attention than we actually wanted. So they blocked off the roads for us, and we had this amazing protest on Black Friday there. What I'm getting to is how we got to Italy. So uh, while these protests were happening here in the US that I was leading, our brothers and sisters of the USB, one of the largest unions and federations in Italy, were calling general strikes and actually bringing out 3 million people simultaneously on Black Friday. They had one before that. General strike after general strike. They done did two at the time. And we were aware of it. We knew that they were calling it. So we tried to do an international day of action. Of course, the US is nowhere to be found. So we're representing the U.S. side. I'm at least trying to represent our labor movement, but it's I'm an individual. I'm not using my union, tapping into my union. I guess as far as the Amazon labor union, I'm not getting them to get involved because they have their own battle right now. But they do show up. Members show up, and also as far as Italy was calling the last strike, which was a few weeks ago. And I said, you know what? Because I was already going to be overseas, I said, I think it would be powerful if I join you guys on the ground. So they invited me in. I met with their president, Francesco, who's an amazing man, and my boy, Jose, who's one of the leaders, the presidents of the dock workers down in Geneva. And yeah, we did this historical demonstration where we shut down 21 ports in the Mediterranean Sea. We included 5 different countries that signed the declaration: Greece, Turkey, Spain, Morocco, and Italy. And yeah, it was a 1 day historical strike, but unfortunately, it was only 1 day because the unions get fined $75,000 by the government, of course, a fascist government, and also the strikers don't make any money when you go on strike. You don't get paid. So
They don't have a
some
and I'm assuming they don't have a strike fund.
well they did. That's something that I found out even just off the fly. I'm like, damn, you guys getting fined. How you guys supporting each other? But I looked at their strike fund, which was a GoFundMe, by the way, and I'm like, yo, it's only 2-3 thousand in here. That's not going to cut it. So what I did, I asked permission from their president. Let me raise the money for them. Let me try to do it with my organization, with Disarm Genocide, with Shuft .org, and let's start a campaign and raise money on your behalf, and I'll give you guys the money 100%. So yeah, we started 2 weeks ago, and Roger Waters reached out through an email, said, "Hey, Chris, I'm going to give you guys $20,000 in matching funds, a blessing out of the sky." And yeah, we got the ball rolling. So now, this money coming in, we have about 40 something $1,000 to give them. Um,
That's awesome.
yeah, hopefully I'll be able to give it to them when I see their president next week in Amsterdam because he'll also be there as well. And
That's
our
all.
goal, yeah, thank you. And our goal really, is beyond giving them the money to help, pay their members back for being on strike and paying these fines. But if we raise enough money, people gotta understand, if we raise money and continue donating to this union, this maritime union that has a strong base in the Mediterranean where Israel can't get no weapons if it's not going through the Mediterranean. If we continue to do these strikes longevity and give these workers the funds and resources, they will be able to strike for weeks. That
Yeah.
means Israel will not get any weapons, and these genocides, the invasion of Iran, all of these things that we're seeing in the Middle East comes to a complete halt because the weapons are not making it there. And that's what people have to understand, that these dock workers don't want to do a 1 day strike. They want to continue. Some of them haven't worked in months. They've already said, fuck it. If we continue to support them, they will be able to continue these strikes and hopefully put an end to all of this stuff. And the real the real culprit is once again the U.S. labor movement, who's not only ignored these strikes because they're well aware. Some of these folks got to be aware. They have an opportunity to join this declaration right now. I'm giving you an open invite right now. If you're watching this, you're somebody connected to a union, reach out to me directly. I will send you a declaration and sign on. We need more unions, especially the maritime unions, to sign this declaration. What side are you on? Basically what we're saying here.
Yeah, and you're right, because something I think about often is when it's like, how do you, which is why it's so actually insane that none of the labor leaders in the US have signed on to this or said anything. Because when I'm thinking about this a lot, where like I get frustrated when we do protests and stuff, and I think like, oh, they don't care like what we think. And then I think about like, what is it that they care about? These people only care about money. That is the only thing they care about. All they care about is money. All they care about is their weapons. So you're right. This type of strike is the most effective thing you can actually do, because all they give a shit about is getting their weapons and their money. That's it. So if you
That's
can
it.
shut that down, and help these people sustain it, that could make such a massive difference, which is why it is so bewildering to me and infuriating that the American Labor Union leaders are ignoring this, because it's like, bitch, you could shut this shit down. You could shut, like, just like adding your name to this, adding your voice to this, like, incredible, like these people that are actually could block, like, as you were saying, they can't do shit. It's like when they're talking about, that's why they're freaking out about the Strait of Hormuz possibly shutting down, because they know it's over. As soon as you shut down their access to that oil and that trade route, good
Yeah,
night, son.
exactly. Two things. The irony is, once again, what we saw in Minneapolis, where all of these unions banded together, they called this National Day of Action, right? They didn't say general strike. They say, this is a day where we're going to call out of school, no work, no school day, whatever it is they called it. They tried to put a little pretty name on it because they didn't want to mention general strike specifically. You know who called it a general strike? It was the people. People were like, yeah, this is a general strike. And then I knew it was dead in the water when you saw celebrities posting about the shit. National strike. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, what? So these same unions that called that day of action are the same unions who said nothing whatsoever about Palestine. So how the hell can you speak about ICE and don't make the connection that ICE trains in Tel Aviv? That the same police brutality that we're seeing is the same, well, similar to what Palestinians are going through, and also what people are going through at the border as well. So
Or
that
connecting that they're building these concentration camps in the country so that they can snatch people off the street and put them in the concentration camps and make them do slave labor.
slave labor, all of the
Like,
above.
yeah.
Absolutely. And The second
What
thing
they've
is,
already been doing as they constantly and continually arrest Americans, especially Black Americans and other minority people of color, undocumented immigrants, to make them do free slave labor and go fight fires and be firemen and do free shit and work at
yeah,
McDonald's.
yeah, yeah, all of the above again. It's like it's right in front of our faces. But these same unions are the ones who've been complicit. But here's the reason why it's so frustrating, like you're saying, why these leaders, these so-called labor leaders, are are not saying anything. You know why? Because they got their asses too far up these Democrats. That's just as simple as I could put it. They are so they are so connected to the Democratic Party, and we saw it right in front of our faces last year how they all supported Joe Biden, vote blue no matter who. And then as soon as Joe Biden dropped out, oh yeah, Kamala. What the fuck did Kamala do for the labor movement or the working class? For y'all to even get, what did she earn our endorsement with? With
It
what?
was like, yeah,
Being a
it
black
was
woman, right? So,
amazing.
but and then it's like all of these labor movements, our labor unions, not only endorsing Democrats, vote blue no matter who, even worse, some of them, including the Teamsters, were playing both sides, donating to the Democratic Party and also donating to Trump. So
Right, and the
how the
thing that
hell?
pissed me off about, what is his name? O'Brien, is not that he spoke at the RNC, right? Or was like talking to in case Trump won. That actually people freaked out about that because people are always tone policing who you can talk to. I was like, no, he represents a union. I don't have a problem with him talking or trying to court Republicans. My problem is, as you're putting it correctly, they always bow to them. Bitch, you are supposed to be the one holding the cards. It's supposed to be the other way around. You're supposed to be demanding shit from them, not kissing their ass.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, I was fine with him speaking there too. You know, people gave me shit for going on Tucker Carlson. And then when I did the interview, everybody came back around like, oh my God, you ethered him. You ratioed him. So it's like, yeah, as long as I keep my same message, it doesn't matter what fucking platform I speak on. Like that's ridiculous. First of all, the reason why we don't reach other sides and get people to join our side is because we don't want to talk to them. That just doesn't make any sense. That's the
And they
problem with the
also want
left.
to live in this denial and delusion that like there aren't a lot of Trump supporting people a part of unions. Like you're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
going to organize a union and pretend that these people don't exist. But the reason why they want to control you and police who you can and can't talk to is because, again, like you were saying, they're representing the Democratic Party for the most part instead of the union. We I've been yelling at Blue MAGA about this for a while, but the problem is we're confusing the relationship here. Okay?
yeah,
We're confusing
yeah,
the
yeah.
relationship. You're supposed to be trying to get them to come to you, not the other way around. And this, like, oh, we're just going to jump on board and support Joe Biden and then support Kamala Harris without demanding anything. It's
Without
fucking
getting
embarrassing.
nothing in return. And that's the reason why our labor movement has been on the decline for the last 60 years. Because every year these unions vote blue no matter who and don't get anything in return for the working class. There's no labor laws has been touched in our country since the 40s. You know, Joe Biden used the 1945 Act in 2023. He used the act from 1945 against railroad strikers up today.
Yeah.
And nobody, the labor movement said, ah, yeah, thanks, Joe Biden. We're going to endorse you anyway. That's the problem with our labor leaders, our so-called labor leaders in our country, is that they're all Democrats. They all make about $250,000. Most
Mm-hmm.
of them millionaires. They've lost their way, lost their touch with the actual working class struggles. And we praise them up just like they praised me at one point in time as the poster child for labor. But then when they realized that I was different, they said, "Oh no, we can't talk about Chris Smalls anymore because he has too much influence on the younger generation. That is not what our agenda." And that's why you'll see them prep up a Sean Fain or a Sean O'Brien or Sarah Nelson, all of these white people that once again, these are millionaires who are at least some of them are half a millionaires. They are not going to deliver the type of promises because they're too connected to the party. They're allowing politics to lead their entities, and it shouldn't be that way.
And we've seen it, and it hasn't changed in the last 10 years, even since these things. And yeah, I mean, they were happy to try to capitalize like on you when this all first happened. But the reason why what the irony, the very ironic part of it is that the reason why they started to marginalize you is because you were actually following through on what they claim to believe in. Like, they claim to believe in all these things and want to fight for the unions. And then when you came along and you're like, all right, let's go. They're like, oh, did we say we were fighting for the union? I don't know this guy. Who, Chris,
I don't
who?
know. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can tell you. Let's be honest here. We all watched it, and I'm as real as they come when it comes to how I move. They just couldn't co-opt me. You know, the co-op attempt failed many times. Whether it's once again on the local level, state level, federal level. I was invited all the way to the fucking White House, and they didn't even want to really do that. The rumor
No,
has it is that
Chris, what
I was
happened
like
to
the
you?
last of them.
What they did to you is kind of what they did to Greta Thunberg. They loved her. They
Oh
loved
yeah,
her. She was their climate princess until she started
yeah,
talking about Palestine, and now they hate
yeah.
her. Like,
Yeah,
you're not,
shout out to
she's a
Greta.
terrorist. No, but like literally though, it's amazing. And honestly, this is the problem where I feel like on our side, so to speak, we don't talk enough about what's happening inward, which I appreciate that you do, because there is a lot of co-opting. There is
Yeah,
like a labor industrial complex, like we're outsiders, but they want to use the aesthetics of labor and of leftism and of whatever. But then when it comes to it, it's like there's like a professional. It reminds me of like when you see all the people that are constantly talking about like how they're gonna fix the what is it called? The those independent places that oh, why am I blanking the word? The like industrial complex of like nonprofits that are always working on something, but they're never actually doing anything. Like they
mhm,
all are, have
mhm.
like wealthy leaders. Like I'm like the homeless industrial complex in Los Angeles that's always working on housing issues, but never actually doing anything. It's like
Yeah, yep,
it's
yep.
actually insane. And that's I feel like what happened. We're like, yeah, you actually want to do shit to address it. And they wanted to co opt you and make you basically a professional leader of the movement. But when you were like, why don't we actually do something? They're like, never mind, get rid of this guy.
Yeah, yeah. Chris Smalls, who? Yeah, I love it,
Literally.
because it once again it shows the rest of the people in the left who these people are, and if you can't see what happened to me was clear in front of your face, then I don't know how to help you because I can tell I have my receipts, and they better hope I never. And this for all of these Democrats, they better hope I never have the time to write a tell-all book because I promise you, the receipts that I have and the shit that I have from these politicians, the messages, the inside information, I'm telling you, it'll destroy their credibility forever. And I don't have the time to do that shit. And it's just like, but I'll tell my truth. I'll tell you exactly what happened. If you ask me about any one of these people, you can name them. I promise you, I have a story for you. And that's
Book
because at one
agent,
point,
book agents, come fight Chris before,
oh no, my book is
before
my book is done. Book is already
before the
done. This
2028 election, when they inevitably all come around and pretend that they really care about labor unions again.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
There
Yeah, I
has
mean,
to
I'm
be
I'm
so what is your all right, let me bring this back to like trying to find something productive. What is your message or your thought on what we can do to actually move the labor movement forward and away from some of these people that basically have just turned it into an aesthetic and an arm of the Democratic Party?
the labor movement needs to stop giving their money to politicians and endorsing politicians.
Mm,
One thing about my union, right? Bringing it back to what I did when I was the founder and president, right? In our constitution, we did not endorse politicians. Period. Why are we endorsing politicians before they give us something?
facts.
And endorsements, when it comes to endorsement, right? People will hit me up say I'm running for office. Can you endorse me? And they could be my friend or whatever. Now I would love to do that, but then again, what is an endorsement if you didn't earn it? Right? Like, what did
Right.
you do for you? Oh, because you kept saying free Palestine for 2 years, I'm supposed to endorse you now? Or because you showed up to a couple of rallies, I'm supposed to endorse you now? No, you got to have a resume. You got to do something. What sacrifices? Everybody want to call themselves a socialist. You know what a real socialist is? Somebody who gave their salary back to their union so they can fucking run. That's
Mm,
me. That was me. Instead of me being paid what other union presidents are being paid, $250,000, some of them $500,000 from their own members' union dues. You know what I did? No union dues. And I gave my salary, my little $30,000 as the president, gave it back to the union because that's the way, that's socialism. That is how the union as a whole was going to survive. If I didn't do that, we would have been bankrupt. We would
yeah.
have been bankrupt. So that's this people that claim this word socialism that don't sacrifice shit. Because I can say that I put my life on the line multiple times. And this is right there. Oh, you don't believe me? Go look for yourself. If you ain't done something similar, and I ain't saying you got to get on the fucking flotilla or put your life on the line. Thank God, well, we survived whatever pandemic that was. But putting your life on the line and sacrificing something, that's something that is a part of the movement. And if you're not willing to sacrifice, then shut the fuck up and move out the way. Because all of these people that are saying they socialists, saying they this, saying they that, are just online with the shit. And that's the shit that's holding us back from moving forward because we keep propping up people who claim these working class struggles, who fucking say they doing this, say they doing that, but have no resume to actually show that they did any of that shit. None of it. And then
Yeah.
we get heartbroken when they sell us the fuck out. And
Asking
that's
for
that's
endorsement when they haven't even done anything. And also, like you said about the labor unions, it's like, yes, there has been, we talk a lot about the assault on labor over the last 60 years, and it's true. But what's not talked about enough is the complicity of the labor leaders and
yeah.
how they sell out their own members.
That's right in front of us. I mean, we watched as Kamala Harris last year talked to billionaires Oprah on a couch and had labor unions behind her with signs. How the fuck? How the fuck does that work? How do you say you're fighting for the working class, and she's talking to a billionaire?
I know.
It,
No,
it
it really,
doesn't. It's just. It really don't make any sense. It is frustrating. It's definitely frustrating from somebody. Once again, as a labor leader, as somebody who trying to get people away from billionaires, taking on billionaires, and then we got our own labor unions standing and clapping and literally dick riding Oprah and saying she's like some working class hero because she said
yeah.
everything is joyful and shit. Then another billionaire they paid for Beyonce to get on stage. Oh, because of Beyonce, we're gonna pay $10 million for her to give a 3-minute speech, and we're gonna stand behind them with signs. We cannot allow this shit anymore. And
Yeah.
that's what's happening within our movements. A lot of
And that's
performative
what they
shit.
did with the money. They raised almost $2 billion in that election and they used it for shit like that.
Beyonce,
Incredible.
Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, all the
Her
rappers, because
set,
they want.
her set on the what was it? Call Her Daddy. They said cost like $1 million.
Because she didn't
Incredible.
want to take a flight. She didn't want to take a flight to LA or wherever the fuck. It's just crazy. It's nonsense to me. And it's like for y'all to think that this party's gonna all of a sudden change course over these 4 years and get their shit together, you out your rabbit ass mind. Like, give it up. Give it up. I understand that the third party woes, and look, I'm not a politician. I'm not an elected official. I don't desire to be, but I do know it's possible because I leave the country all the time and I go to other countries that have multiple parties and they have options. And I just left Sweden 2 weeks ago, 90% union density compared to our 6%. We are a fucking embarrassment. So when
Yeah.
they said that the strike in Minneapolis was the largest labor strike in 80 years, and it only brought out 50,000 people, and everybody on the left is like, oh my God. It's like, yo, what are we talking about? 50,000 out of what, 6.8 million people that live in Minnesota? What are we talking about here? When Italy could bring out 3 million people and we're clapping over 50,000. We do that in New York City all the time, Blakely. When we did the Palestine protests, how many people? It's like 50,000 people. But
That was
the media would never tell y'all that. So
no,
we
no,
pick and
you're right. And
choose.
unless you go and search it out, you're not going to
Yeah.
like, I don't see, especially since Larry Ellison took over TikTok. I don't see, in fact, I never did until I got on TikTok, saw shit outside of the US. They don't report on like the labor strikes and
No.
the things that are happening outside of the US. And but that's the other thing too, is that even if you're not, even if I were to, the thing that also makes me crazy is even the argument a lot of people will bring back to the thing about how they have multiple parties is that they do have the infrastructure for it in a way where our infrastructure makes it incredibly hard to be a third party candidate. And while I understand that, another thing I'll point out that really actually enrages me is even when you put aside the third party thing, even if we were to say, okay, right now the two party system is what we have, so many Democratic voters, this is what I had to come to terms with, are actually dick riders and okay with the fact that the Democrats don't do anything. Like they will act as their actual like digital bodyguards when you try to hold them accountable and be like, no, leave them alone. They're trying the best they can. Like, so it's not even just a matter of the fact that we have a two-party system. It's that the voters themselves are embarrassing dick riders that are not even willing to hold the politicians themselves accountable. I saw this when I literally was calling out Mamdani, who I liked, who I was excited for, who I was campaigning. I was door knocking on the day that he got elected, like literally wanting him to win. So he wins and he immediately endorses Hakeem Jeffries for House Speaker. And I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind? So I'm losing my shit. And you know what happened? I got yelled at by a
Uh-huh.
bunch of people on the left
Of course
telling
you
me
did.
that
Of
I
course you did.
was wrong for telling
Of
him
course you
not
did.
to endorse him. What?
Of course. Listen, don't get me started, man. Oh my God.
So
Listen,
even then,
Mondani.
even within the party system, you don't even have people, the voters that are willing to hold politicians accountable. They act like they're fucking celebrities that need to be protected at all costs. It's like,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
you don't
Yeah.
understand the nature of
Yeah.
this relationship or how it's supposed to be.
No, I listen, I'm done with the whole Mondani shit, man. Listen, I don't know how many chances you give him. He endorsed Hakeem, he endorsed Kathy Hochul. He's playing the fence very well. Very, very, very well. He does these candid videos and everybody loves him. The celebrity glazing and shit, I just can't do that shit.
But
Is
even
he
putting
the is he
that,
the best candidate for New York City? Sure, absolutely. But think about it on another side, it's like who the fuck did he go up against? Eric Adams and Andrew Cuomo? Blakely, I swear you probably would have won. So let's give him credit. He beat them. He's a Muslim. But we got to be realistic about this shit. This man has the entire Biden administration around him. If y'all didn't wake up by now, Julie Sue, uh, what's the lady name? I can't even remember the name. I'm blanking out right now. But listen, Lena Khan, that's her name. These people came from the Biden administration. Julie Sue was the Secretary of Labor last
but I
year.
think yes, but I
It's
think that's the thing though that's maddening to me is that we're not even going
failed.
to step one. We're not even going to hold them accountable on step one. It's like this
Nah, you
is
can't. You
not,
can't.
we can't even get like what I'm saying is like even when I'm trying to have a conversation with people who are progressive, who vote, who are still Democrats, I can't even get them to
No.
agree with me that there needs to be accountability and criticism. It's like you're either not electoral at all or it's a fucking fan club. I'm not in a fucking fan club. Like I just can't. Like,
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's hard. It's disheartening to see. I see it all the time. I'm on Instagram. We got many followers, mutuals, and I see these people glazing this man, glazing these politicians, and it's like politicians will never. We've never in the history of humanity, newsflash, we've never voted our way to liberation. Just doesn't. In the history of mankind, that's never happened. Never. But we still have this delusion or illusion that we're gonna just vote in the right savior and everything is gonna be okay. And I get the hype over Mondani, but then again, I don't get the hype over Mondani because once again, the man has done some things in the past, but the shit he's done is not mind blowing. It's like what?
Wow. It's
Okay,
like basic shit. The thing, but that's the thing that makes me
and
also crazy.
I'll give him credit for the universal child care, but people gotta understand how these things work. Like he wasn't the one who presented that bill or fought to get that bill passed. He gets the credit because he's the mayor. That probably took 2 or 3 years in the making. So we give him the credit, but we forget about the ones who actually put that bill on the table, the ones who drafted the language, who fought Kathy Hochul and probably had to protest because I had to do the same thing. When I drafted a bill, it took 2 years to pass. I drafted it in 2022. It passed in 24. Like it doesn't just happen overnight, and we don't just give credit to the person who puts their name on, who stamps their name on it. And a lot of people are giving him these victories that don't really belong to him. Yeah, they belong to other people, but we want to give it to him because he's the mayor, and they want to prop him up as this what really the Democrats are trying to do is make him the face of the movement because they know their party is dying. So what they're doing, they're latching themselves onto him now because they see that he has the influence. But he's
Mhm.
going to break everybody's hearts. I'm telling y'all right now. We've seen this already with Obama, with fucking AOC, with Bernie. This is the same shit that they're going to do. They're going to prop Mondani up. They're going to gas him up to run for this, run for that, and he's going to break your fucking heart. And I'm not going to be here for it. I'm going to tell you what we need to do now is prepare ourselves and organize regardless.
Right. My view of it is that I think that we need to change our relationship to politicians. That if they're going
Stop treating
to,
them like celebrities. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like
I,
treat, but also like use them for what we can use them for, and then move on and continue to organize around other things. To me, it's not it's not an either or, it's an and. Like we use them for what we can use them for, and we organize outside of that around other things. But also, like when they fuck up, they should be held accountable, and we shouldn't be treating them like they're these gods, like they're these saviors. But unfortunately, that is what happens. So, like, I am glad Mom Donnie won, and I'm glad he's doing the childcare thing. I'm glad that there is like the view that some people were shocked by something as basic as being able to to like plow the fucking streets. I don't know why I'm shovel. That was the word I was looking for.
Mhm.
However, people again are already, as you said, gassing him up, making all these fan edits, doing this and that. And it's like, no, 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 no. No. I want to see him do the right thing. And when he does, I'm going to be glad about it, especially like the rental hearings. I was happy to see that. I've been fighting with my landlord who there I have a mouse infestation for the last fucking 2 years. But at the same time, when you allow somebody to become this kind of like celebrity figure, then all of a sudden you think it's your role to protect them instead of holding them accountable. And then you make the people that are trying to hold them accountable your enemy rather
Mhm.
than people that you should be standing behind when somebody does the wrong thing. So like, you know, and there's no winning. Because then if I say something about Mom Donnie that's positive, people are in my comments being like, fuck you, he sucks. I'm like,
You know what? I don't say I could have been said what I wanted to say about Mondon. This what I'm saying now is probably the first time people will hear it come from me. But
mhm,
like if you ask me in person, I'm gonna tell you my opinion the same way. But I'm gonna take you a step further, right? Once again, Mondani knew a week before I even got on the flotilla. Mondani came to Staten Island and visited the union that I founded. He met them, took pictures. He did the same shit AOC and Bernie did 2 3 years ago. Came to Staten Island, came to visit my union, took pictures with the Amazon workers. And then the next thing he posted on his Instagram, on his Twitter, was I support Amazon workers, right? All of that. I support it. The same shit Bernie and AOC did. And I haven't heard a word since. He did
yeah,
the same. He did this 1 week before I got on the flotilla, right? Everything happened to me. Everything on what the flotilla was widely shared on Instagram or whatever social media. You can't tell me unless you was under a
No, it
fucking
was
rock.
everywhere. It was everywhere. We were all
Right.
talking about it.
Right. There's no way. Nobody on the left wasn't, or even
Right.
beyond that, wasn't. So he deliberately chose to say nothing, right? When I got out and I got all my phone, I got all my shit back, I I got a notification that Zoran Mundani, not his mayor account, but his personal account, starts following me on Instagram. And I screenshotted it just to save my receipt. I'm like, I never followed him back till this day. But it's just interesting that he chose to follow me after I got off and got out of prison, right? And this is him because this is his personal account. So he knows, he's aware that I made history in his city, and I'm gonna just give y'all a step further, going back to when I got fired from Amazon 6 years ago. 6 years ago, Bill de Blasio was the mayor. And Bill de Blasio praised me for the things I did at Amazon. Even fucking Eric Adams invited me to speak at his inauguration day in Brooklyn at the King's Theater. Praised me as well for the work I've done. Mondani has done neither. Neither. He has never said nothing about the work I've done, nothing about the history that I've made in the city of New York, who represents one of the largest unions in New York. He has
Yeah.
yet to say anything positive or anything at all about me, but he's following me. He's following me.
That's
And
crazy.
it's crazy, but it's true. This is who he is. Not only that, I have personal friends who are personal friends with him. I have mutuals, and they showed me things that I promise you, if they ever went public, he wouldn't be that glazing celebrity that y'all love. I promise you that. We got to stop, because I'm telling you now, he's going to break your fucking hearts. And if people can't see that, let the work speak for itself. He's going to do these breadcrumbs. He's going to do some good things, but he's going to do a lot of fucked up shit. He's going to give these breadcrumbs because you see how he plays the game. He's going to go visit Trump and smile next to Trump, but he's going to call and get the Columbia student out the same day. So he's going to give y'all oh yeah, we're going to give you a little bit of this, but I'm going to have to go stand next to this war criminal and be a fucking puppet, because you can't get me to go stand next to Trump right now for no amount of money. But to do it for free, nah. If I was standing next to Trump, I'd have slapped the shit out of him. That's what he should have did. Instead of taking a fucking picture for whatever, so Trump can use the propaganda and say, "Oh yeah, I like him." He's making him look like a bitch. And
Okay, but to play devil's advocate, what if Trump agreed to meet with you regarding the labor union?
no, hell no. Trump don't have no power over that. That's not even his department. There's a
Yeah.
labor board. I don't
Yeah.
need to meet with him. I don't need to be with him. And even if I did, I'd slap the shit out of him. Like, that's just who I am. I'd slap the shit out of Trump. I'll slap the shit out of Bibi Netanyahu. I'll slap the shit out of any politician
That
that
would
play in
be
my
fun.
fucking.
That would be fun.
Anybody that plays in my face, I'll slap the shit out of them. I'm not going to stand there and allow somebody that's deliberately, well, who's a fucking pedophile. Forget all the fuck with all that other shit. I'm not meeting with no pedophile. I'm not doing that. It's just not happening. And unfortunately, he's a politician. He's gonna play the game. But we got to see exactly what this guy is doing. He's doing some good things, but he's doing some really fucked up shit on the other side, playing the fence. And it's going to come a point in time where it's going to come to a head, and he's going to break your fucking hearts, because once again, there's been plenty of examples. Him, once again, doing the snow shoveling shit. That's a good thing. But then on the other side, they go fucking arrest the only black guy who threw a snowball. Like, so it's like, because you got that commissioner, Tish, who's a
Yeah.
fucking, we all know, he should have been fired her. What are you waiting for?
She should have been fired. Right. So that's why I'm saying I am looking at him through the lens of like, okay, I'm going to accept and enjoy and like the things that he does that are good for New York. But I'm also not going to pretend like he is the end all be all or a savior. I already did that once in my life with Bernie, and he did break my heart. I'm moving on. I'm not looking at them that way anymore. And so I'm not allowing that to happen, especially since, again, I'm going to praise him when he does good things, and I'm going to trash him when he does bad things. And the Hakeem Jeffries thing to me was, there was no, There was no excuse for that.
How
What
about
the?
apologize that, and how about apologizing to the NYPD? Who the fuck?
Oh yeah, no, that was
Like
embarrassing. That
that's
was
that's a that's a that right
embarrassing.
there was the deal breaker for me. Take it from somebody who's a black man who's been raised in this country, who's been in handcuffs since they were 9 years old,
Yeah,
right? And I had to live through stop and frisk. Like I got pulled, I got detained as a minor because of stop and frisk by the NYPD. Just catching the fucking subway.
yeah,
So for him to apologize to the NYPD, the same NYPD that killed Eric Garner, the same NYPD that arrested me for organizing, arrest people for protesting, Palestinians, arresting them, deporting all these Columbia students all the way to fucking Texas now. The same NYPD, you're gonna apologize because of what? Like it's that right there was
it's
the
like
icing on the cake for me.
that, and then recently, like he obviously like really both him and
Endorsing Kathy Hochul.
right, and AOC and yeah, but then there are things where it's like, okay, like I said, I understand that politicians are going to politician, they're going to make political moves, right? But then I saw what really pissed me off that he did recently, that AOC did too, was when they pretended not to understand why those protesters were protesting those land sales in Palestine. They were like, "Oh, we
Yo,
could
don't get
that." I and AOC pissed me off even more because she tried to be like cute in her response and was like, "Well, it's actually not that hard. Not a hard concept not to be anti-Semitic." I was like,
yeah.
"You know
This
why those people were
well,
out
yeah, yeah. She doesn't care to know. She does know, but she doesn't care. She has to play the game. She's about to run for president, you know? That's what
there?"
they're
Yeah.
trying to do. They're trying, and that shit's gonna crash and burn, you know? It's just stupid. You know, this is how disconnected the Democrats are, you know. Once again, they just now posted that Kamala Harris should have spoke up more on Gaza. Like, duh. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we all know that. So you
But
if
again,
they
even if you try to critique them, they yell at you. Kat Abu Ghazala recently had that come out that she is supporting the most demented right wing foreign policy on Taiwan and Ukraine. So I go into her comments just asking her to clarify. I'm like, it leaked that you support that. What are you doing? Like, can you explain all this? And all these people start commenting on my comment. Why are you trying to sabotage her? You're trying to help the Republicans. Why are you trying to hurt her campaign? Blah, blah, blah. Because I asked for her to explain herself. Like,
Yeah, I stay up. I just gotta stay online. Like I jump on and on. I respond here and there. You know, I have fun with it. I troll people too. I do the same shit. But at the end of the day, like you're not gonna find your answers online. Like people are just stuck in a hopeless time period where they're so desperate for hope that they don't understand that it's right in front of them, and they don't know how to find it. They rather just look for answers on Twitter or on fucking Instagram or whatever platform. And it's like, yo, you're never gonna find the answers. If you want to know, go fucking get out and touch grass. Go outside and organize and figure it out. I promise you, you'll have a different perspective. Like I tell people that all the time. Like they're like, "Oh, you know, why are you talking about Palestine and Gaza? Da da da." And it's like, you know, I tried to go over there. That's why I can do that. You, on the other hand, have not. So you have no right to tell me what I should do or what I should say. And that's how you got to approach these people. It's like, you know, it's easy for everybody to do this. Point fingers, point the blame, but they never do this. Never say, "Yo, it's my fault," or "What am I fucking doing?" or hold myself accountable. And that's just what the type of world we live in. You know, people are afraid to hold themselves accountable. And
and
every
people
time
want
somebody's doing more, somebody else is doing more than them, they try to bring them down because they're not involved, and it's just ridiculous. We got to stop.
to, and the thing is too that I keep coming back to is like in America, especially, we keep thinking that somebody's coming to save us. Like nobody's coming to save. There is no savior. There is no celebrity that's gonna come and run for president and save the world. Like
Stephen A. Smith. That's what they say. You know, he said, he said I'm running. He's running, baby. We gotta wait for Stephen A. Smith or somebody. I
I
don't
love
know.
that too. when he's like, I don't think that people in America are racist. But I'm gonna run as a Democrat because I was like, no, bro. You first of all, Stephen A. Smith is a Republican. Okay, when he tried to do that, I'm a
That
social
motherfucker.
liberal and fiscal conservative. I'm like, that's not a thing. That's propaganda. No, he's a Republican. He just says he has to run as a Democrat because the Republican Party is too racist to allow him to run in that party.
You know what he is? A damn fool, and he's a fucking Uncle Tom in a
No,
Cooney Tune.
I love when he's like, tired of all these people always putting down capitalism. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Stephen A. Smith. Capitalists just haven't caught enough of a break in this country.
Yeah, I know, I know. My bad. It's crazy. It's crazy. You
No,
know.
Stephen A. Smith needs to not run for president. Okay,
I
he
hope he
needs to.
does. I hope he does.
God,
I can't wait
no,
to. I can't wait to see the memes. You
no,
know.
I can't.
I hope AOC runs too. I can't wait to see them memes because
Honestly,
her foreign policy is trash.
no, that's so actually, and for real, that's gonna piss me off. That's gonna piss
I
me
can
off because a bunch of people on the left are gonna gaslight us about it. There's
no.
gonna be so much gaslighting.
They if you know, you know. You know, you won't allow that shit to happen. You know. So when it does happen, because it's going to happen, Blakely. Like, look, the Democratic
No,
Party
I
don't have they don't have nobody.
She's
They
gonna
don't
run.
have
She's a Zionist that everybody
she's
loves to.
gonna she's going to lose. And it's gonna be bad again. So, you
Right. And
know,
the thing that you were saying about being gassed up, if AOC actually wanted to be like serious, she could run for Senate, but she's gonna get so much smoke blown up her ass about running for president that she's gonna run and she's not going to win. That's not she's not going to.
no, she might not. Yeah, she might not. She might be smart and simmer down, but right now, the way they try to prep her up, sending her to Germany.
that was embarrassing.
When I saw, I was like, "Are we fucking kidding me?" Germany, of all places to talk about working class struggles, what the fuck? You guys, yo, if anybody's
That was
supporting that shit, that is absolutely insane for you to think that she had any right to be over there. First of all, I was in Berlin, Germany when October 7th happened. And
oh
what I
really?
saw, that's one of the largest Palestinian diasporas outside of Palestine. There's 40,000 of them that live there. And I've
Wow.
seen firsthand what happens to that community. It was horrible. Talk about Holocaust right in front of me, setting up tables, paddy wagons, lining the Palestinians up, arresting them, dragging them away from their kids, zip tying their fucking
In
kids in
Germany?
front. Yes, this is happening. They tore down every Palestinian flag. You can't even say free Palestine in Germany. You're going to get arrested violently. Not just arrested, you're going to get your ass beat and then arrested. It's happening right
So
now
Germany's
till
never beating the Nazi allegations.
oh hell no! Not even they have a piece. They have the same parliament that AOC was doing. I was there. I got invited in there 2 years ago. I was in there. In the basement of that building is Hitler's little tomb box, and a piece of the fucking wall, the Berlin Wall, is still in the parliament. They are absolutely right wing Nazi. It's the party's in power. What are we talking about? You're telling me right outside that building people are being dragged away, arrested, getting my comrades over there that I know are part of the Intifada movement. They're over there getting their ass beat daily, weekly, that the media would never tell y'all. But we're going to send AOC over there and say, she's talking about working class struggles. Get the fuck out of here. Yo, people, I'm sorry. You're delusional if you voted for that. Yo, honestly, honestly.
Americans, we
So,
are delusional. We are delusional. And the sad fact of the matter is that a lot of Americans would rather suffer as long as we have Netflix and Taco Bell. And as long as we have that, we're willing to live in horrible conditions otherwise. Like, that's a sad reality that is hard to wrap your mind around, but it's true that, like, a lot of Americans, even if they're suffering, they're fine with it as long as they have their anesthetics.
yeah, well, that shit about to be gone too.
Yeah,
Like, about Netflix is, I don't know, they done merged and shit. I don't know what they doing, but
they're
it's
coming.
sad.
They are
It's
coming. They are
uh,
coming. We are
uh,
living in the like when people say late stage capitalism or the collapse of the empire is coming. I'm like, no, no, no. We're here. Like
yeah,
we're
we already
here.
here.
Yeah, it's shit's about to get worse. The tech
This AI
oligarchs,
shit.
yeah, the
Yeah,
tech
yeah.
oligarchs and the tech feudalists, they are like they are like what do you call those things that eat dead people? The birds. What do you call
Oh,
it? Vultures.
vultures.
Those
Yeah,
they are
yeah.
vultures that are
Hmm.
coming to eat the carcass of America and turn us into a tech feudalist hellscape where all of us are master failed. I feel like people are paying attention to that. They're just like la 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 la, and I'm like, here comes Peter Thiel
Right,
and
right. Just
fucking
get all your
Larry
medical
Ellison.
records. To get your
Yeah,
medical records right now, because that's what he's doing in other countries around the
they're
world. He's
bankrupting our country to pay for more war. And like I feel like people haven't connected it yet. And by the time people do connect it, it will be
It'll be too
too late
late.
and all of us are going to be in a camp.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm getting the fuck out of here. That's why if you don't got a passport, I advise you to get a passport right the fuck now because yes, 70% of Americans don't have one, and the 30%, you know, probably 25% of them they leave the country for like leisure and vacation. They're not really tapping in. So there's really like 5% of us that are actually tapped into like the geopolitical world where we understand our rights in other countries. And it's just sad that our politicians like AOC, who failed on foreign policy to me, like she don't even know what the fuck's going on around the world. So how the hell are we gonna elect her here? It doesn't make any sense. We need to stop the gaslighting. Tell her to get off that horse. She wanted primary Chuck Schumer. That's an easy win or something. But like president, get the fuck out of here. You're out your mind. There's no way. We got to be real, and that's the problem with the party as well. They got to be real. They're not real with themselves. They're not real with holding people accountable, and everything they do in the dark comes to the light. And whether it's Palestine, whether it's what's happening in Iran right now, what's happening in Cuba, they are always retroactive, and that is
Yes.
why we fucking lose all the time. We gotta wait for shit to get worse before it gets better, and
Yeah.
those days are over. Those days are really over. We have to be proactive.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, you're right. And
I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer here. I mean, this.
no, 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 you're not. No, you're not. You're right though.
Shoot.
You're right. It's hard.
I'm over
It's
here.
hard. It's hard because it's like we all want to have hope, but you're also talking about the reality of the situation that we're living in. And it's like and you're right about the thing too about like most, of us Americans, you're more educated than 70% of the population because you've actually spent time outside of the US. So it's like you actually have spent time actually, talking to people and living and being more cultured and like most of us
There's
most of
only
us
so much. It's only so much I can do as an individual, But what I do when I do leave the country is I try to give y'all a glass view of what I am connecting to. So everything I post on my gram or social media, it's for people in America to see like, oh, this is how things are really happening over there. I try, but it's really
yeah,
difficult, like you're saying. It's hard when it's not being put in the mainstream media. Even certain media on the left, they're not really up to par yet when it comes to the worldwide views. You have good platforms, of course. You still got Democracy Now and all of that, but it's like as an activist, as somebody who's doing grassroots, because there's levels to this. I'm straight grassroots no matter where I go in the world. And that's the beauty of the type of organizing that I do. It's not from
yeah,
the top down. It's not, I don't go overseas and be working with, I know politicians across the seas or whatever, but I don't go over there for them. I go over there to meet with students,
yeah,
I'm going to third world countries. I'm going to whatever ghetto. I'm meeting with people in the community and building that way. And that's how I try to bring it back to the US. Like this is those dock workers in Geneva. That's bigger than what people meets the eye. Like, you gotta understand, this is a stronghold, a chokehold, and if we support it, maybe some U.S. labor unions finally wake the fuck up because they don't want to be called out eventually. Because bringing it back to the dock workers, it's only really two specific unions in this country, but we know them very well: the ILWU
Yeah.
and the ILA on the East Coast. Those two unions alone can shut down all of the ports in the US. Just those two. So if we shine a bright light on them saying, hey, where the fuck are you at when it comes to any of these working class struggles? Maybe we move the needle and we get their members to hold their elected officials accountable. Maybe we do that. Who knows? But we got to do something. We got to do something different. And the only thing I can see is supporting the strike workers in Italy. But what I also want to do is bring some of the international trade union leaders that you guys don't know of, like Francesco, like Jose, bring them to America. I want to try to raise money to bring them with a delegation to meet with these two unions, or meet with multiple unions, meet with the public, do a protest. I want to bring them to the U.S. so that we can bridge that international solidarity, and that's something that I'm working on too.
Oh, I love that. That's a great idea. Okay, good. Something to hope for. Something to
Yeah,
hope
yeah,
for.
yeah. Hopefully, the next by spring. Yeah, like I said, I'll be meeting with folks over the next few weeks. These flotillas are going to be leaving at the end of the month, early April. So, what I'm hoping when I meet with them next week in Amsterdam at the Hague, what I'm going to try to propose is that we go on strike again, and when the flotillas leave, like, we strike while the flotillas leave to really fuck Israel up. Now they got to worry about flotillas. They got to worry about the docks. So I'm trying to help
Yeah.
build that up as well. And if I'm able to, you guys will hear about it.
I was gonna say, keep us first of all, I'll put the link to the Chuff thing that you had for the dock workers. I'll put that in the description for people to donate if they want to help the dock workers. But also make sure, yeah, keep us posted because then like once you find out more, get any more updates, we can amplify it and hopefully kind of get more people talking about it. Cause I think that when we talk about getting hopefully something to change, the best way I think in a good place to put your focus, which I'm glad that you are, is on things like these strikes and blocking these docks. Because again, like when I try to think about, okay, what is it that our evil empire actually cares about, it's money. So if you can
Yeah,
fuck with
yeah,
that.
yep. All the military industrial complex, and Amazon has a lot to do with that. All these other corporations, Microsoft, all of them, Planetaire, all of them, they all have something to do with this genocide. But not just supporting the dock workers, also donate to the flotillas, because they need these boats are not free. They cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, especially now we're trying to double what we did with the global Samud and have 1,000 people go. We're going to need
Yeah.
100 flotillas, 100. So I know they have a donation as well. So yeah, donate to the flotillas.
Yeah.
Direct any direct action. It's a no brainer. Direct action gets the goods. It gets results. We can protest until our lungs are blue. We can rally till our lungs are blue. They want us to rally. They want us to protest because they know, okay, they're going to protest. That's a one and done thing. But if we do more direct actions, like flotillas, like shutting down ports, like what those 24 activists did in Germany, I mean, in the UK, where they fucking raided their fucking warehouse, the Elbit warehouse, and they got prosecuted, but they all got released, charges dropped. If we do those type of direct actions that's disrupting the system, as you said, the military industrial complex, that's what gets us the results that we want. We got to continue more of that. Yes, it comes with great sacrifice, with great risk is high reward, though. We know that we're going to risk ourselves. That's what we signed up for as activists. If you're an activist, it's the time is to get active.
Yeah. And to boycott, to continue to boycott, because people act like that boycotts don't matter. They do matter. And again, it's about hitting people where they actually care about it, which is financially.
The
They
latest
don't
the latest boycott is ChatGPT. I see there, we got to cancel that shit out. I never really used it
Spotify
anyway, but
too. Spotify
oh,
too. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I was like, when I knew I was starting this podcast, I was like, I'm not going to put it on Spotify because I think that they were just like officially added to the BDS list. So
yeah.
anyway, that sounds great. I'm going to put all of those things like in the description so that people can help and like donate to them. And yeah, is there anything else that you want me to add that people should be watching in the next couple weeks?
Don't watch mainstream media. Watch more independent media. In the next
Yes.
few weeks, yeah, pay attention to we have this convoy to Cuba. Um, yeah, the flotillas will be leaving early April. Pay attention to that and stay tuned for, the next strike that we're gonna call in Italy. And also lastly, free Liqua Cordia,
Yes.
Columbia University student, and one person that Mondani could have fought for in the White House, he should have fought for her, who's been locked up for almost a year, and she's from my home state, New Jersey. That's why every day I put her on my story, and if I have the capacity, I will try to put something together outside of that detention center, outside of Dallas, I believe, in Texas. So yeah, pay attention to that. We need to get her home and free, just like all these other students that got
Has
out,
Andy
Mahmoud.
Kim has Andy Kim or Cory Booker said anything about her?
They ain't say shit about me, and of course not. Absolutely not. They're
Of
not.
course.
They are Apex bitch.
Yeah.
Bitches, and that's just what it is. I'm not. Once again, these politicians are not going to save us. It's going to be the people that's going to apply pressure to make the politicians do their fucking job. So
Exactly. Just like they did
I
with
don't.
Mohamed Ibrahim
Right.
once he
We gotta.
finally got home.
Right. We gotta. Yeah, I know they showed up at the airport and everything. Yeah, but it's always going to be the people. When I got home, just making that relationship real quick, is like when I got home, you was there. At the airport, I seen everybody from the community, who I really, build with on a grassroots level. It wasn't no politician there. I didn't have AOC beat me at the airport or any politician that I met over the years. It was the people that was there for me. My family, my entire union was there. The current leadership and the former leadership was there. The community people that I done strikes with, and people from other parts of the country flew in, and that's
Yeah.
that's what really motivated me. It's like, wow, I came home not knowing, not having no outside communication. I didn't know what the fuck to expect. So when I saw that we shut down JFK Airport, I was like, wow, this is amazing. But that's the power of people when we come together. The same power that took down Amazon is the same power that can liberate Palestine when we come together.
Yes. Let's go. Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much, Chris, for being the first person to come on my podcast. And like what you
Returning
said,
a favor.
yeah.
Just
And
returning a
also,
favor.
like you said, follow independent media. It is important. Media is important. It has a role. I was going to lose my mind when I saw that Rachel Maddow was doing propaganda for Israel, pretending that the strikes on Iran had nothing to do with them. And it was actually the Gulf state. Like, I thought I was going to lose my mind. So media is important. Everybody has different roles. Everybody has different talents, but information is important. So ensure that you are following and supporting independent media sources, as well as your local unions, people like Chris. Make sure that you're following what he's doing and staying up to date with all of that. Support these union organizers in their fight, the flotilla. Thank you again so much for coming on, Chris. I love you. And good
Love
luck
you too. Love you too.
in Amsterdam.
Absolutely. Thank you. You too. Good seeing you. Take care.
All right, fam. That was the first official episode of the Blakeley Show. That went a lot longer than I'm probably going to do with like future episodes. They'll probably be shorter, but this was different because it was a debut episode and Chris is a dear friend of mine. So I really didn't want to put like a time cap on our conversation. So yeah, that is going to conclude the Oh, you know what I said I would do? I said after the show, after the interview that I do, if anybody had sent super chats, I'm going to read them, which there were 2. So thank you to both Old Bony Bird. What did the 5 fingers say to the face? And thank you from Deep Green VO. Shout out to you, especially him being bankrolled by the Soros family. Billionaires don't bankroll unless you do their bidding. These backdoor deals need to end. That's a really good point. Thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you again to Chris, who was incredible as usual. Chris is just so great. I love him. So thank you guys so much for joining. Please make sure that you like and subscribe as I try to figure out how I'm going to get this on Apple Podcasts. Boycott Spotify right now, guys. I'm pretty sure they're on the official BDS list. And I'm going to, when I'm done and I'm editing this, I'm going to add the links in the description to the places that he shouted out, the Dock Workers Union, as well as the what was the other place? The CHOP union, as well as the flotilla. So also make sure that you like this first debut podcast of the Blakeley Show. Like it, share it with somebody that you know, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Also, if you want, feel free to put guest recommendations in the comments, because I'll be looking at the comments to see what people want to see going forward as far as like other interviews and people that I can talk to and have on the podcast, whether that be politicians. I'm totally open to having politicians, whether they're here or in other parts of the country, as well as artists and activists. And low-key, I would love to talk to a lobbyist. Not so low-key, actually. Those are people that I want to know. Are you a lobbyist? Are you an ex-lobbyist? They're doing some of the, you never see them talking. I want to see them talking. I want to know what you know. What's actually happening in Washington, D.C., bro? What's actually going on in the swamp? What are you guys actually doing? Okay. So, yeah. Yeah. So, make sure to put that in the comments, who you would like to see, and we'll, I'll work on trying to get them. And yeah, love you all. Free Palestine, abolish ICE, free all oppressed people in the world. Solidarity with the Iranian people as they are being kicked around like a political football right now. I love you all. I will see you on the next one. I'm not going to be doing one actually next week. I'm going to be out of town to see my family. So the next podcast will probably be in about 2 weeks from now. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here with me for the first podcast of the Blakeley Show.